Hello, and welcome to the December edition of Superintendent's Corner. I'm Dan Raver for Boardman Schools Television Network. I'm joined today by Boardman Schools Superintendent, Mr. Tim Saxton. Welcome, Mr. Saxton.
Pleasure to be here.
Always. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Boardman School Foundation grants?
Yeah, it's a good way to start off this episode. The Boardman School Foundation for Educational Excellence was formed about 6-7 years ago. It was a way for people to get involved that are not necessarily school people to build a foundation to support ideas, creative ideas in the Boardman schools that aren't traditionally funded through the general fund. We were in our 6th year of presenting grants to creative ideas as presented by teachers. It's a pretty neat process, and I was pretty excited to be part of it this year. We start in the fall with an opportunity for teachers to submit applications for creative things that they're doing in the classroom that directly impact student success or instruction that aren't typically funded through our normal channels. There's a couple filters. The committee looks at those over, selects, gets it narrowed down to their finalists, and then they come in and they present to the committee. We had 7 different grants approved this year, and they go from helping to implement our new reading curriculum to taking a look at hydroponics and ecosystems to technology and STEM type implementation. So it's pretty fascinating. The grants go up to about $1,500. We awarded just a little bit over $7,500 in funds this year. So it really helps our classroom teachers. And if you could see the excitement and the genuine smiles on their faces when they find out they win these grants and how it's going to help their classroom kids, it's worth it.
That's great for innovation for new school subjects too.
Yeah, it's economics in schools are challenging concepts. There are constraints out there. Budgets are decreasing. So to find alternate pathways to supplement these ideas, the school foundation is perfect.
Yeah, that's great. How many years has this been going on so far?
Like I said, the school foundation started back in 2010, and this is about our 6th year of implementing of awarding these grants. And it's nice. It's a great part. One thing I don't want to fail to mention, it's a great partnership also with their teachers and their education association, the Boardman Education Association also, because it does benefit them, but they also help implement these grants by, this year they gave $2,000 towards the implementation of these grants. So it's, like I said, it's a great partnership.
Yeah, that is great. Could you also tell us a little about Supervisor Natalie Winkle?
Yeah, Natalie Winkle is our, if you look on our organizational chart in the schools, is our food supervisor. Which maybe doesn't sound very exciting because for school-age children, they're always very critical of lunches. But what people don't understand, there are constraints and federal requirements for lunches. You can't throw out a cheeseburger and a big plate of fries anymore. So Natalie takes a lot of heat, but she has been very creative ever since she came on board 2 years ago. So I like to call her not our food supervisor, I call her the QOC, the Queen of Culinary. She has been innovative, hardworking, and creative in what she's done. She has written multiple grants and has been awarded those grants, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 for creative and innovative ideas to bring different food products and to try some different items on our menus. Most recently, though, because of her cutting-edge ideas, she was one of 3 food supervisors in the state of Ohio selected to go to, it maybe doesn't sound too exciting, it's called a produce university, where it's sponsored by the federal government. It's all expenses paid, it's all over the country. The USDA puts these on where they pick some of the leading food supervisors to study produce, proper handling, implementation, and creative ideas. So she's been awarded that. We're very proud of her. She's doing a great job, and it's challenging. It's very challenging to put a lunch out there that meets those federal requirements, but still kids are attracted to. And she's fighting that battle, and she's doing it well. It's like I said, it's a tough battle, so I give her credit, and she's doing it, and obviously being recognized as one of the best in the state.
That's great that she's getting such high honors for all the programs she's implemented.
Yeah, we're happy to have her on board. She's been a great addition.
That's great. Could you also tell us about school cancellations and delays that are happening lately?
Well, it's always a hot topic here, or maybe it's not the opposite of hot. Maybe it's a cold topic.
Cold topic.
Obviously, as we sit here towards the end of December, right for Christmas break, and had just gone through a school cancellation delay, and being a newbie in a superintendent's chair, a lot of people wonder, like, how is that decision made? And is it based on a little spinner you have in your office, Mr. Saxon? You spin and whatever it lands on, because it can be confusing. We get on the news and we see Trumbull County in Western Pennsylvania, Mahoning County, Columbiana County, some schools closed, some on tour delays. So some people maybe not understand the decision that goes behind it. Boardman is very unique. It's not like maybe a Beaver Local or a West Branch, which is a very large property-wise, acreage-wise school district, but not necessarily population-wise. But there's a lot of roads, and a lot of country roads. Those are plowed differently. Boardman's more of a suburban area. We have an excellent road department. All our kids are either driven by the parents or you're picked up by the bus. We have no walkers. You take a look at like Struthers or Campbell, where they may have a high percentage of walkers. So a lot of people say, okay, why are Struthers and Campbell's closed and maybe we're on a 2-hour delay, we're still open? It's a balance between, our goal is to educate kids. The goal of superintendent is to make sure we do that efficient and we do it responsible. So I have to balance making sure schools are open, because that's our charge, that's our mission, with the safety of students. So it may look in a child's eyes like it's inconsistent, and it's never fun to have to go to school when your friends who are in other districts are not. We understand that, but there's a lot of data that goes in that decision. It's not just a real simple wake up and I don't know, maybe walk outside and see what the roads look like. We're talking to road departments. We're talking to our transportation department. We're talking to our maintenance to see what our lots look like. There's a lot of calls made very early in the morning. So what I can tell you, big picture in summary, is we will do our best to make that decision before 6 a.m. if the decision is made in the morning. We will do our best. Now, weather can mess that up, because the weather doesn't always want to play by our rules. But that's the goal. The other thing is, we will only use a 2-hour delay if that's the absolute best tool to keep schools open and make sure kids are safe. We used one the other day. It was very important to us that if we use that tool, we let parents know the night before, because I know it's difficult. I'm a parent. I have 2 kids in school. I know my wife and I both work, so I know what it's like to have to make those arrangements. So we try to get that message out as early as possible. So I wish it was an exact science. I'm a math guy. It's nice when things fit in these nice boxes, but I would say it enters more of the art realm. It's an art. There's a lot of factors, and you make the best call that you can make.
It's definitely a hard decision just so early that you have to say, hey, are we going to have school today or are we not going to have school today? And we definitely trust you to make that decision.
I appreciate that. Like I said, there's a lot that goes into that decision, and we do our best to make sure kids are safe, but schools are open. So we balance those.
Yeah. All right. Could you also tell us about a great anniversary within Boardman High School?
Yeah, we're entering 100 years of the Boardman School's graduating students. We've been educating students longer than 100 years, but actually handing out high school diplomas. The class of 2017, which I think
I'm part of the graduating class.
You will be the 100th class to receive a high school diploma from the Boardman schools. Quite an honor.
Yeah.
So that actually, when you do the math, the 100th class is, you enter 100 years of Boardman education of students receiving diplomas. So here's what we have planned. Starting with your class, at commencement, we will kick off our 100-year celebration. So that you're going to be like opening ceremonies. Think of the Olympics. So we're going to start that in class of 2017 on that June Sunday, and then we will go throughout the whole school year. We'll have all kinds of activities planned and marquee events to honor that 100 years, and we'll have our closing ceremonies with the graduating class of 2018, because they'll end the 100 years. And I would say, keep your eyes open on our calendars, our website, social media for all the different events. We're going to try to hit all the different realms, the academics, the arts, and the athletics, to have these different marquee events to honor 100 years.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
I'd be excited about it too, because I'm the one graduating.
Yeah.
Could you also tell us about the K-6 Everyday Math program and how that's coming along?
Yeah, we talked about the big picture last time I believe we sat here, so I won't go into all the details about the K-6 unification with the everyday mathematics. The one thing I wanted to bring up, I talked about how we're having these math nights, and I mentioned on our last episode we've had a couple math nights, and our next one's coming up January 12th. Last time we had this, it was back in November, so not a lot of people were circling January 12th on their calendar. But Market Street, for the parents of Market Street, we will have a math night. It will be held, obviously, at Market Street in their cafeteria on January 12th, and that'll be at 6 p.m.
Okay. Could you also tell us about a little bit of the changes happening with the graduation criteria for the class of 2018?
Well, this is one thing that doesn't impact you. So we'll start to celebrate with the class of 2017, but behind the scenes, we go to work because the class of 2018 and beyond is under some new graduation requirements. You can remember, I would assume, your sophomore year sitting in the cafeteria taking OGTs, not in the cafeteria, actually in the classrooms, taking the OGT. That is gone, and the class of 2018, next year's seniors, are held accountable to what they call EOCs, end of course exams. Instead of having to pass 5 OGT tests, the graduates from 2018, they have to accumulate points. There are 7 end of course exams. They're scored anywhere from a 1 to a 5. So if you ever take an AP test, you're familiar with that scoring. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. What these students have to do over these 7 different end of course exams is accumulate a total of 18 points. 18 or higher. 18 is the minimum. If you acquire 18 or higher points, then you're qualified for graduation. Now you have 7 different tests, and there's some other smaller qualifications. I don't want to get too deep into the details. You got to have so many points in math. You got to have so many points in English. There's also the science, and there's also the social studies realm. So there's 4 different areas there. Okay. The bulk of it's in the math and the English, but there are several tests in the social studies and the science. So altogether, to keep things simple, you have to accumulate 18 points. So you may come out the gate and get a 5 and a 4 on your first 2 tests. You got 9 points. You're halfway there. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a chance to, maybe you don't do so well in one, but you do really well in others. Basically, you need to score between a 2 and a 3 on every test, 2.5 maybe.
About average, yeah.
Right. If you figure the maximum gets 35, so they figure 18 is a little bit more than the halfway point. So if you average 2.5 or better on all your tests, then you'll be on track. And there are more details, so just to give you a quick summary. That's one pathway. There's 3 pathways to be on track for graduation. The 18 points. The other one is to get what they call a remediation-free score in the ACT. Next year, or actually coming up here, all our juniors will be given the ACT as sponsored by the state. So if they score a remediation-free score, which right now is a 22 or better, then they also are qualified to be on track for graduation, and they won't have to hit that 18-point criteria.
Okay.
The third way is a career-based pathway, and if you earn a work credential, there's a work keys test and a lot of details. That's more for the people who may go out to the Career Center, but we're also looking at offering some career credentialing in the high school as an alternate pathway. That's a whole different layer. That's a whole different discussion. Maybe we can tackle here when we come back in 2017. The last point I want to make is the State Board of Education has had some pretty good discussions about this 18 because they're jumping right into it. And right now they're predicted that about 30% of Ohio's juniors are not on track for graduation. That scares people because come graduation time, you don't want 30% of your seniors not qualified for graduation. The good news is we're looking at that data. We've been tracking that data. Right now, we're not at that 30%. 87% of our kids are on track for graduation. So we got 13% out there that we have to do some intervention with to make sure they're on track. We're usually right around 96 to 98% graduation rate. So we're not too far off. And understand these are only juniors. So part of that may be they still have some other tests to take to earn their points. So we feel pretty good that we're ahead of the curve. We're not going to fall into that trap of 30% of our kids not graduating.
Okay.
Just want the people that watch to make sure they understand that's one of the big changes going on in schools. That's a hot topic across the state of Ohio.
Yeah, we'll make sure to keep everyone updated on that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. Could you also tell us about the holiday concerts within the arts program?
Probably the best thing is I would hope people watching went to them because my words won't do justice to the talent in the performances that you see. Obviously, all our 3 main areas, the choral, the band, and the orchestra concerts are over. But just fantastic concerts. We kind of missed an opportunity to, we did give a little bit of a heads up last meeting about attending those. The last thing I want to say though is being a former high school principal, one of my favorite assemblies all year is coming up tomorrow, and it's going to be right next door here at our Performing Arts Center, and that's the Holiday Music Assembly, where we bring all our arts together for an hour and let our kids perform in front of the whole student body. It's such, to me, that's one of the best holiday gifts you can get.
All the talent just all together is a great thing to watch. I know every
yeah.
year.
Oh, you're right.
Something I look forward to. Yeah.
You see, it's amazing. I know we have pep assemblies for the athletes, but this is the pep assembly for our musicians and our performers. To have their peers up on stage, it's just amazing the talent we have here and what these kids can do. It just leaves you with such a good feeling on that last day of classes before you leave for break, knowing just what a quality range of programs we have in our music realm.
Yeah, it's great to see everyone's product of what they've gone through for practicing too, in the end.
Oh, I'm guaranteed they're working hard. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it takes good instructors, it takes good programs, great tradition, great facilities. All that works together with the great talent we have at Boardman. Just it's a top notch. It's the best product in the state of Ohio.
It really
I'm comfortable
is.
saying that it's the best product in the state of Ohio. Nobody can touch it.
No one can.
Yeah.
Could you also tell us a little bit about winter sports that are happening?
Yeah, we're probably about 30% into the winter sports season. Probably the biggest highlight, our boys basketball team just off to a great start. They've had just some tremendous games. Not to discredit any other programs, bowling's off to a great start. Girls basketball's off to a great start. Swimming is a traditional powerhouse. Same thing with wrestling. We have some phenomenal wrestlers this year. So I don't want to skip any of those. But I would say if you're a Boardman community member, a lot of people come up to the games, especially on a Friday night, to watch boys basketball. And I tell you what, I've never seen crowds like I've seen in these last two games. Credit to the seniors and the student body, your leadership. I've never seen the turnout that we have right now with our student body, both home games and away games. And this is my 15th year at the Boardman schools. I'm saying, in my 15 years, I've never seen anything like that. It is great. The kids are into it. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or a freshman. They have great themes. They have appropriate cheers. I tell you, it's really impressive, and we're getting a great turnout from the Boardman community, parents, faculty. Pretty impressive. So if anybody's watching here and they want to come up and catch a game on a Friday night, check our school calendar on our website, call the athletic office. I think you'll be impressed with the product that's on the court and just the whole atmosphere. It's good stuff.
It really is amazing to see everyone come out and just be explosive with their pumpness and hypeness, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, like I said, I give that credit to me. It starts with the seniors. If you have a senior class that gets that going, the rest of the kids fall in line. So I give credit to our senior class. They got it organized. They're showing up. It starts at the top for this kind of thing. So kudos to the class of 2017.
Yeah, I know. Also for basketball, the doubleheader is coming up soon for Howland.
I want to bring that up. I know we talked about that last time, but it's very unique. Now, this first one's an away game, and it comes up this Friday. December 23rd might be a tough date for some people, especially if they're hosting the holidays at their house or just getting holiday preparations. There'll be another one back in January, and we can talk more about that next time together. But this one, December 23rd, very unique. Give credit to Mrs. Gorski, our athletic director, and the athletic director over Howland. There's 4 games that night. Normally we have 2. A boys JV and varsity or a girls JV and varsity. We're going to start at 3 o'clock, have a girls JV, and then at 4:30 we're going to go to a boys JV. Then at 6 we'll go to the girls varsity, and then at 8 o'clock we go to the boys varsity. So it's one night you get all kinds of Spartan versus Howland Tiger basketball. I think it's a very neat idea, very creative. We've never really done anything like that before, so we're going to see how it works. I think it's good that they're trying creative ideas. Again, when Howland comes to play us at home in January, we'll do the same thing and host it at home. And I believe that's the same night they're going to have a special fundraiser where Outback comes and does a steak dinner. So it could be a really neat night here at Boardman High School when we have those double headers and steak and a potato and a salad.
Yeah.
So,
good dinner, 4 games, what more could you want?
Yeah, entertainment, you got it. So.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just want to wish everyone who's watching a very joyful holiday season. Obviously, tomorrow's our last day with the schools, and we'll start back up on January 3rd.
That sounds good. I'm Dan Raver for BSTN. We'll see you in January, and remember, We transform lives through academics, athletics, and the arts. Wishing you all the best for the holiday and New Year.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of Boardman School Board Report. I'm McAllen Warwick for Boardman Schools Television Network. Today's program will feature the December Board Education Meeting. I'm joined by School Board President, Ms. Victoria Davis, who will share highlights of the meeting. Welcome, Ms. Davis.
Thank you, McAllen. I'm glad to be here.
The December 2016 regular board meeting took place at Boardman Center Intermediate.
Yes, it did. We were back in the small auditorium after making our rounds to all the schools.
Ms. Davis called the meeting to order. Were all board members present?
Yep, we were all there for the last December meeting.
Did anyone from the community address the school board, Ms. Davis?
Nope, there wasn't anybody there. So we have 3 meetings in a row.
The Boardman High School cross-country team recognizes senior Christopher Butler, state qualifier 2016, and state meet 30th place 2016. Congratulations, Chris. Ms. Davis, I see you went over the consent agenda. Would you highlight what was discussed?
It was a real small agenda, obviously, because this meeting was held in the middle of December, so we were like 2 weeks ahead. So there wasn't much activity between our last board meeting and this one. So we just had the meetings of the minutes of the last meeting, a couple of resignations. We had Mark Montarelli resign as our English teacher at the high school, and Alyssa Birch had to resign as the volleyball assistant coach, obviously because she had that new baby. So I'm fortunate to see her go, but we wish her well.
I see we have some certificated leaves of absence.
We do. We have 2. We have Leslie Garrity, our high school language arts teacher. She's going to do an unpaid parental leave of absence. And Mary Rowan, she's from West Boulevard. She's one of our resource room teachers. And she's also going on an unpaid parental leave of absence. So we wish them well as their families grow, and we will see them back in the spring.
Ms. Davis, I see we have some on-staff supplemental appointments.
We did, but most importantly, because there's several, the 4 is Marley Broker, Abby Chamness, Allison Herman, and Patricia McCabe are all stepping up, and they're going to continue on with the drama program at Glenwood Junior High. So we are so excited to give those kids that opportunity and build upon that program.
We also have an off-staff supplemental.
We do. We have Nicholas Bolavanta is going to continue as our high school weight room supervisor. I'm not sure if anyone remembers him or his younger brother, but they're both Spartans that used to play on the football team. So we thank him for that.
We also have an off-staff volunteer coach, Jeffrey Markovich. He has volunteered at the high school as the assistant basketball coach.
So we appreciate his time and effort for that one.
Ms. Davis, I see we approved a list of certificated and classified substitutes.
We did, and we have this list every year. Again, we'll say if anyone's interested in substituting for us, come on down, and we did gladly take your application.
Let's go to the treasurer's business with Mr. Greg Summons.
We had a short meeting for the treasurer's report because it was quick between the 2 meetings, but we did meet all the goals that we needed to meet for the end of November, so we're good and exactly where we're supposed to be. We also had a grant approval that he had processed. And we want to say congratulations to Natalie Winkle. She got a Team Nutrition Buckeye Healthy School Challenge grant. It's actually worth about $7,000, and she also got a second grant for about $500. So we are so pleased and happy with that nutrition group. Those girls are really working hard and trying to keep us in line, and that money is something that we actually need. At this time, we also found out that Natalie has been selected to be on a national committee for cafeteria, food, menus, and that type of thing. So we are so pleased and excited for her, and hopefully she'll bring back some wonderful news as she expands her wings into that type of an adventure. So congratulations, Natalie. Also under Treasurer's business, we had the sale of their spare buses. We had 2 buses, but due to their age and their condition, we have to let them go prior to us buying new buses, which will probably happen in our January meeting. We also had an equipment purchase. It's a very valuable piece of equipment for BSTN. It's the same piece of equipment that's over in our stadium, and to protect that piece of equipment, and we didn't want to move it back and forth, so we're going to get a a new piece of equipment for here. It is called a TriCaster or a video switch. So for anybody who has any questions, you can call Chris Colonis at BSTN and he'll walk you through, but it's an amazing opportunity for you and our students at BSTN.
Let's go to Superintendent's business with Mr. Tim Saxton.
Mr. Saxton just basically had one item on here. It is our Mahoning County Educational Service Contract. It's basically for opportunities for the kids with disabilities to stay another year after they've met all their graduation requirements. And we only have a handful of kids to take this opportunity, but obviously they're not ready to get out into the job force yet. They want to do a little bit more specialized training, so we're glad to have that opportunity for them.
Ms. Davis, I see Mr. Saxton approved a field trip.
He did. The boys baseball team is going to go down to Florida over spring break, so we're happy that they're going to go out there and get some practice in before their actual scheduled games start.
Please check out our school calendar on the Boardman School website. What reports were discussed during the school board meeting?
We had two. Mrs. Poma did her legislative report to discuss the what was going on, obviously, in the national level for government and the state level. National level, there wasn't much that's going on, obviously, because we're waiting for President Trump to be sworn in. And then the state level, Governor Kasich hasn't submitted his budget, so we're waiting on that to decide on what direction that the board needs to take, you know, the next step for the Boardman school system.
What was the second report?
The second report was just Mr. Saxton's. He had new and revised policies he had to present to us. There was a handful of them, but these reports were basically changing the language for our transgender students. So the state is on top of that, and so is the Boardman schools.
Were there any final comments you made, Ms. Davis?
Just a few. Unfortunately, this is my last meeting, so it was a great year being president. It was a huge transitional year for the Boardman schools, where there's a lot of changes, basically with the middle schools, the realignment there, and a lot of administration, a lot of our staff. I think we decided that over half our staff in the last 18 months has been changed due to retirements and just moving people around. So it was an honor to be a part of that, and I'm going to miss it, but obviously I'll still be a board member. We have one more year, so we'll see what 2017 brings.
Well, thank you again, Ms. Davis, for your service as president of the school board.
My pleasure.
Thanks again for joining us today, Ms. Davis, and sharing a closer look at the December Board of Education meeting. Congratulations again to Boardman High School cross-country state qualifier, Christopher Butler. Check out our Boardman Schools website for further details on upcoming events. A reminder to tune in to next year for our January school board report. This is McCallum Warwick for BSTN. Let's keep striving for excellence. From all of us here at BSTN, we wish you the happiest of holidays and a wonderful new year.
You may call it in this evening,